Yeah, what's his favorite shoe?
You know, it's funny. Michael will tell you. It depends on when you catch him. I've heard him say a couple different things, but to me, I think his best quote is he said, "Well, you know, that's like asking me which is my favorite kid." You know, and so if you have kids, you're never gonna say what your favorite kid is in front of the other kid. You know, and you're gonna make the other kid feel bad. So, to me, that was his best response. But I think I've heard him say the 9. I've heard him say the 11. I do know which one he dislikes the most, and that's the 10. And I think, the reason and actually it's not fair because he actually likes the 10, but when it comes to all the others, he likes it the least. And the main reason is because it was kind of the first one where he transitioned out. And now this is something for all you sneaker heads out there that you might not know. I'm going to give you a tip on something, and you guys might, if you find a pair, you'll find a pair of shoes that is worth a lot of money. So what we did with the 10, originally Tinker designed the 10, and Michael always loves a clean toe on the shoe. So if you look at almost every single Air Jordan we've ever designed, you'll notice that the toes of them are very clean. And he just likes that look. And so Tinker actually took the 10, the very first production run of the 10 was probably like 3,000 pair. It actually had what we call a cap toe on it. So instead of it having a completely smooth toe like this, it actually had a line that went across the top of it. And Michael was so ticked off when he saw it, he's like, we got to pull those out of production. So literally we stopped production, made the change, and started back the production line again. Cost us a ton of money to do that, but hey, Michael wasn't feeling it, and so we did the change and went back to the clean toe. So there's probably like 3,000 pair of Air Jordan 10s in the original white black colorway that has this cap toe on the top. If you guys have a pair of those, probably worth some serious money. But not many people know that's even the case. So.
Gentry, what's the official lightest Jordan ever come out? I heard 13 many years ago, but
you know what? Actually, the goal was to make the 23 the lightest. Honestly, I can't tell you where we ended up on the 13, but it's got to be. I mean, on the 23, but it's got to be close. You know, I couldn't tell you. I don't want to lie to you, so I can't.
Pretty sure the whites are in Soul Collector.
What's that?
Pretty sure all the whites are listed in Soul Collector. So.
Oh, yeah.
Latest issue, pick it up.
Yeah, you're probably right. Actually, I think
they've got the reviews and they've got the size 9s and whatever they use. So.
Yeah. So the goal was to make the 23 one the lightest.
And to do with there was a T-shirt that came out, the embellished tee. How come you guys didn't wait for that 23 to come and then include that on the T-shirt? So obviously that T-shirt's all the 23s or Jordans, you know.
Well, actually, I think a big part of that was the 20. So we had the celebration of the 20, and so that, you know, that's kind of when we did it. You know, for most people, the 20-year anniversary is the big time to blow things up. Technically for us, 23 probably is bigger than 20, but hey, at the time we didn't know what was going to happen, so we said we'll take advantage of a 20-year celebration. So that's kind of why it ended up being a little bit early. It was just the anniversary of the 20.
Cool. Will we continue to see any more Jordan Brand inspired skate shoes? Like we had the hat rod and the J rod. Will we see a G rod?
No, you know, we actually we got a shoe called the Flip Side coming out. That actually is our version of a skate shoe. We actually were going to sign a couple skaters. We sat down and met with Stevie Williams, who actually was with Reebok, and we actually got a lot of cool information from him. And we kind of used him and a couple other skaters, you know, to kind of tell the difference. You know, it's funny, I'm not in the skate world at all, but it was interesting talking to those guys because in the States, actually, the skate world has started to have influence in the hip-hop in the urban community. So we said, okay, how can we be relevant, but how can we be a little bit different? And just to kind of understand, like, you know, street skaters versus those guys that get vertical and all high, you know, there's a whole different mentality and attitude there that I had no clue of. But it was cool kind of talking to those guys about it and finding out about it. And so we actually came up with our version of a shoe that it's called the Flip Side. It has a little bit of 3 influence in it, but it's, you know, got the midsole of like straight flat midsole like skate shoes. And so yeah, you'll see some pretty cool stuff going forward on it's playing in that world. And really it'll be more like, we use that category kind of as a, what we call our alter ego. So things that you would think that Michael wouldn't do, we are going to try and do it. You know, like another thing that Michael's really into right now is not snowboarding, but skiing. He bought a place in Utah and he's like, skiing is his thing. So, so you might see some ski influence start to come into some things. So,
Yeah.